Hello. Well, it's Susan here from Everyone Can Craft. Well, it's an interesting one today because I've been realizing that I've needed to be thinking ahead about what I'm doing. And thinking ahead for what I'm doing has a number of different meanings. I mean, one of the things that I was doing this morning was I was trying to organize all the print on demand sweatshirts and t-shirts I'd got to make sure I could find all find the ones that I need to wear for the next for the Creative Haven things. I had to do a bit of organizing there, and I just finally got them something like organized after I got a series of aids to help me organize them yesterday. So I got that done this morning. And then it was a case of, I need to find all the craft materials. Well, if you saw how many craft materials I'd managed to cram into my bedroom, you'd be surprised. In fact, to be honest, I've nearly got enough to oh, I've certainly got enough to make fill the building, fill a large number of shelves in a craft there. If I ever have a building of my own, I'd be able to stock the first few sessions of the crafts with just the shelves and the boxes and the drawers that I've got in my bedroom. I've got a layer of drawers, a layer of shelves, and a layer of boxes. I can only just walk through one end of my bedroom to the other because I've got that much stuff piled up. Like I say, I've got a row of drawers, a row of shelves, and then a row of boxes. Trying to find any more space, but I think I found a bit more space for the extra boxes that I need to fill in for the stuff that I've got downstairs. And then, of course, as I've been tidying up, I have found I've got far more stuff than I anticipated. I have got that many tablecloths you wouldn't believe. I have got red and white striped ones. I have got red and white check ones. I have got ones with Christmas trees on, got gingerbread men, all sorts of patterns and designs and colours. Yeah, the green ones with the white Christmas trees on, and the white ones with the brown gingerbread men, and silver ones with snowflakes on, of various different designs and sizes. Green polka dot, yellow polka dot, white ones. I've got some white tarpaulins that would do as a table covering. I've got loads of them. And every time I see them on there, I pick up a few. And I've got that many. I don't think I don't think I need any more. They've just said, well, they're doing those on a special offer. Oh, they're good. I'll pick up a handful of those, thank you. And so I've got sort of like four sage green with white spots on. And then, of course, there's the bright yellow ones with white spots on. And the old yellow ones with the like gingham check on them. I've got loads. They just all need to be organized. And to be honest, that's part of my planning ahead. Organizing the gear that I need to go for the Creative Haven, because I know what I'm planning on doing. It's just I've got to find the materials amongst the boxes and the shelves that are in my bedroom and elsewhere, I think, as well. So I've got to sort all that out, and that's all part of my planning ahead on there. And then, of course, people have been asking me, well, what's your vision for what you want to do, and how are you going to put this into action, and what products have you got in mind? And I'm thinking, oh God, yes, I've got all sorts of ideas wandering around on there. I mean, one of the things that I've been planning on doing just coming up is a challenge. Trying to work out how to do a challenge what used to be called a Facebook challenge, and it's there. I mean, I've been around online long enough to work out there are many different ways um of attracting attention to what you're doing. There's some things which are quite collaborative, such as I don't know whether anybody remembers the teleseminars that used to be all the rage, probably 15, maybe even 20 years ago. And they were, and the idea was that you couldn't do much. The video was in its infancy, but you could set things up so that you could have a whole series of audio recordings, and sometimes with a useful slide thrown in as well. So, so somebody would say, right, I'm going to host a gardening summit. Oh, on a gardening summit on a particular topic, and they would record a whole series of audios and have it set up so that you could listen to those audios for a certain time, and unless you bought all the recordings, and then you could have the recordings forever, and that's how they made a bob or two out of it. That's how they covered the cost of putting on the teleseminar. And then we went on to doing the similar sort of thing, but using videos, because computer technology had moved on a bit, and it was possible to set up something very similar with videos. I mean, you could get membership software where you could drip feed and put there, so you could say, right, I want you to join this membership level on my website, and then you would set it up so that on a certain day, everyone who was a member of that program would be able to access that video. And sometimes some of these membership sites were so clever that you could set them up to exit that particular page on at a certain time, so you could have it open for 24 hours or 3 days and then close it again. And you could still sell the videos on the access to the videos if you wanted to. Again, a good way of making a penny or two to cover the cost of running the video summit. And then things moved on to doing. Then there was the product launch idea, where people would have do their own there, because the old summits, where you gathered a whole load of people on different who covered different aspects of the same topic, and very often you found that if you collaborated like that, somebody would find your work, and their customer became your customer, and word spread about what you were doing that way. And the same with the video summits as well. And then we're on to the product launches. And the product launches became all the rage. And the product launch, you had a video 1, video 2, video 3, and you would teach there on the same website, on the same website, and you'd have her teaching for day 1, day 2, day 3, all on the website. And on sort of day 3, you'd have what they say, open the cart. In other words, make an offer, and they would sell a number of their products. Then we went on to then we moved on to the Facebook challenges. Well, the Facebook challenges were slightly different in the sense that you built up, instead of having the sort of like the product launch ones were basically web pages, and you could add comments on the bottom. Well, the Facebook groups, you weren't just commenting on the videos, you could actually build a little bit of community engagement in the Facebook group and do that. Yeah, that was there. But then Facebook decided that they didn't like people doing that, so they stopped people doing Zooming in live. And now there's oh, I don't know how many different ways I've seen it done. I've seen people use Zoom, mixtures of Zoom and Facebook and YouTube and specialist software, in all sorts of different combinations these days, with the idea of sharing information and excuse me, of sharing information so that and educating people so that they will actually want to buy what you want them, what you've got to offer. And yeah, that's sort of been done in slightly different formats, sort of audio or video, live video, recorded video, all sorts of variations on the theme that I've seen over the years. And yeah, I'm planning on doing something like that. And I'm sort of like, yes. Just having a think through all these old ideas and trying to plan something for the future myself. And this time I'm doing this a bit freehand, really. This is a bit on spec, but I've more or less got the script written out for a series of 3 videos that I intend presenting next week. I think I'm going to put them in my Facebook profile certainly to start off with, and then I'll see where we go from there. I might end up doing something like putting them on a website there, or making a mini course out of them, or doing something like that. I don't know. There's so many different variations on the theme, and everybody's got their own idea on how to do it best. Oh yes. And of course, if you don't follow person W, best way of doing things, well, you've not done it the right way, and there's room for improvement because you've not done it the person's W's way. Except sometimes when you do it person W's way, you end up making it better. It's better for the people that you're serving than the way that's taught by person W in the first place. This is the fun and games of marketing online, especially marketing online using content and sort of audios and videos. It's strange, and like I say, I've watched it grow and develop over quite a few years now, as partly as technology has developed and partly as ideas on best practice have changed. And of course, what happens is, oh well, we'll do it this way, and somebody develops a really good way of doing it, and everybody else copies. Then, because everybody else is doing it that way, the whole idea starts to get a bit jaded, and people start thinking, oh, this is done to death, we can't do this anymore because this is the old way, and then they start looking for a new way. Or as it happened with the Facebook challenges, Facebook decides, I don't really like this idea of doing Facebook challenges in our groups, so we'll make it so that people can't do it's harder to zoom into a Facebook group. Oh yes, you can still zoom to a page, and you can still zoom to your personal profile, but we'll make it a lot harder to zoom into a group. It's a constantly changing there, and you've got, like I say, and I was planning ahead on doing that, and then that's next week's plan. The week after's plan is going back to the creative haven, and that's why I was sorting out the things in the bedroom this morning, because I wanted to make sure that I had the things I needed to wear for that, because that's different. That's face to face, and I've got a collection of sweatshirts and t-shirts to wear for that. I've got some that say crafting a healing journey for people and places on. I've got some that I've got with the sunshine image on. I've got all sorts, to be honest, that I've done. And yeah, you could have a sunshine one as well, because the sunshine one, it's on the kingdomwear.wales website. You could have a sunshine one on there. The bright bright literally, they are literally sunshine on there. And yeah, and I actually did that as a craft when I was trying to do some painting with my dad when he wasn't quite as when he was a bit more able than he is now. As often happens when people are in their late 80s, he is in a state of mental decline and he can do less things this week than he could last week. We don't know how long he has left, but he is on a downward trajectory, and it's sad to watch on there. So today I've been sitting with him today. I spent there, and while I was sitting with him, sounds funny, but it gave my mum some me time. Something that she doesn't have very often, because she ends up just sitting at the kitchen table holding his hand for a large part of her day. And she was just able to, right, well, you sit with your dad, you sit with there, and I had the pleasure of sitting next to my elderly father and holding his hand and being a good daughter and just watching television with him. Such is life. And of course there's a planning ahead for him, which mostly means making sure that he has the care that he needs from there, because he's got to a point now where mum can't manage him anymore, certainly in terms of lifting him in and out of bed. So she's paid a carer and they come and give him a help come and give him them a helping hand. I'm not strong enough to do it. I'll sit with him and I'll help him, but I'm not strong enough, and I don't have the training and the strength to be able to do any more on there. So it's been an it has been an interesting day. Well, planning ahead means planning sometimes for sad things, because we know that certainly in the natural, the only way for my father is down a bit, and he takes jumps every so often and goes down. And then, of course, as he jumps down, everybody wonders, "Oh, is this it?" And we all wonder, "Well, what's going on here?" So, and then he sort of bounces up a little bit. Mum bounces up a little bit, and we breathe a sigh of relief and think, well, oh well, we not doing anything just yet. And such is life at the moment on there. It's the way it's going. It's sort of, planning ahead. We're planning ahead for, we've got the sort of planning ahead for looking after dad, planning ahead for life without dad in another way as well. Yeah, life is interesting, but I'm also planning ahead for the Creative Haven idea. Like I say, there was a day about a year ago when Dad was rather more able than he is these days, and we did some painting together, or rather, I did some painting and tried to push him to join in, and he reluctantly joined in, and we did some bits and pieces. And I did a sunshine. I got a piece of wood and I dipped it into some onto some paint, and I'd squirted some orange, red, and yellow paint onto a plate, and then dipped this on the plate. And then I took a picture and I made it made it onto a sweatshirt, which, like I said, is on the kingdomwear.wales website. You know, as a sunshine. So, and of course, as I'm wanting to do that stuff with Safe Haven, I've got to find the supplies I've got. You see, I want to do some things which are also like making some pictures and making pictures and things with A6 paper. Well, I've got amongst other things, I've got to make sure I can find all the paper cutters paper punches that make pieces of paper that are smaller than that can be stuck onto those cards. I've got to make sure that I can find all the stencils that I've got. So there, I can find some of them, but I've got a lot to find. We're looking for the things I've got for sponge painting. I've got a few different things for sponge painting, all sorts of things. Christmas, everything from, oh, you name it, I've got all sorts. Leaves and people and shellfish, and I don't know whether I've got any insects, but I wouldn't be surprised if I do. And I've got loads of stencils that I've picked up on there. When I've seen stencils on offer, I've added to my collection of stencils. I've got an abundance. I've got a box of stencils, and I've probably got at least one. And I've probably got at least one box, if not two boxes of foam stamps that need to be gathered together. Whether I use them, whether they get used at Creative Haven or not, because that would mean using ink and paint, and how easy that would be to use, I'm not sure. So I'm trying to just gather stuff together and plan ahead, make it possible, make Creative Haven possible on there, because gather all my gear together and see where I am. So that's what I've been doing with planning ahead today. It's an interesting life. And then, you know, I'm going to date this recording a bit, not just with talking about my dad's health, but in talking about a news article. There's well, there was a few days ago from when I made this recording, there was a no. There was an actor who died suddenly, and you know who's found dead, and people wondered why they were found dead, and you know one of the reasons was they hadn't planned it. They hadn't. Everybody thought that the arrangements that they had were okay for looking after them and that things there, but things didn't go to plan, and they were discovered. Both this guy and his wife were found dead, and I look at that situation, and I look at my family. I think my mum and dad have definitely planned ahead for this, in the sense that they have, you know, as they're getting older, they've got children who are running towards them and not away from them. The people knew that this old actor was not an easy character to be around, and hadn't got any easier as he got older. And they left him to his much younger wife, thinking left her. And of course, it turned out that by the sounds of all the news reports that are circulating, she died first, and then left him on his own for a few days until he couldn't cope on his own. And nobody had planned ahead for that eventuality. Nobody had thought, oh, well, hadn't we better keep an eye on those two? Everybody thought, oh, well, she's so much younger, she can cope, and then she dropped down dead. Literally. So planning ahead is some different things. Oh, by the way, I do. So there's all this idea of planning ahead. I'll tell you one thing I do have knocking around, and that is I've got an old surviving a household emergency website. Now that sounds strange. That's sort of there. I did that for years ago. I did a course called Surviving a Household Emergency, and oh, I must have done it 2001, maybe two. On there, I did it certainly, well, certainly, um, certainly this century, and certainly before 2005. So I'd done that, and I then did it my usual way and wrote a textbook to go with it. And then when I did the textbook, I'm thinking, yeah. So I actually made the textbook into a sort of course, to be honest. And I did that course, and I made that there. And I didn't do much with it, so I just sort of left it online. And I left it at godslily.co.uk/ready. And you can always go and have a look at that and see what you make of it. It's got all sorts of bits and pieces on there, being for fire safety, flood safety, all sorts of bits and pieces, things to make you stuff to make you think, and even a plan to record your own emergency plan. Okay, that's enough of planning ahead, and I'll see you. I'll see you again next time. Bye.